This is Ben and Leelee coming to you live outside of Bao Cordova in the outskirts of Cebu City or something like that. Whatever I always say. Who cares? But tonight's going to be a little bit different because I got this lady to join me, and usually I do this by myself. So, I'm curious. I want to try this. Go to the side, and I don't know if this is going to make us upside down or what. So tell us your thoughts, because we need to know, because when we were taking the screenshot, it makes you take a screenshot before you sign on, and it was all cattywampus and upside down, and we want to go the horizontal direction and not the vertical direction, because that's what everybody wants to see. There's people on. What's up? Okay, so we're gonna switch the camera, and if it makes us upside down, then hey, there's M.M. Martin. Hello from Sweden. Hey, Martin, Sweden. That's great. We haven't had anybody really contact us from Sweden before, but how's Sweden treating you? We're here in Cebu, basically Cebu City in the Philippines. Rotate device? What? It won't let us. Okay, well, whatever. We just tried. It didn't work. So it said, something went wrong. Tap to retry. So, okay, we're going to have to scrunch our heads together and just do it this way. So we are live and in person here. So come on, get involved in this awesome discussion that we have going. So I guess mostly we're just gonna talk about pretty much, whatever you guys want us to talk about. If you have questions for Leelee, then by all means feel free to fire them away. So here we are. Martin, I know, I follow. My wife's from Dumaguete. Sorry you didn't. Oh no! Yeah, well, it's the Philippines, right? So even though I was pretty harsh, in my dialect about Dumaguete, it had good things, but I really just wanted to relay the things. A lot of people ask me, should I move to Dumaguete? And, some people don't know about those aspects of it. But as far as as a lot of people have said, there's a lot of good people in Dumaguete, and there's a lot of good areas surrounding it. But so Martin says, I agree with your thoughts about the expats. Well, great. So then I didn't offend you. That's fantastic. Well, what did you think about Dumaguete, Leelee? I mean, did you have any opinions that you wanted to tell people?
Well, for me, it's a lot of foreigner going there, and they say it's a tourist spot for foreigners, so that's why. And it seems like more foreigner there than in Cebu, because the foreigner is they are gathered together and some drinking. So
yeah. Now, one thing that I didn't mention is. We did a interview with Dan and Rochelle, and then afterwards, the first person that approached us was actually a really great guy. He was a religious man, and we stopped and talked to him for a little while. So that experience was really great, and ironically enough, he was from my hometown in the States, so didn't expect that. That was pretty cool. So, but yeah, pretty much did you like Dumaguete, or did you not like Dumaguete?
well, for me, it's okay to travel to see Dumaguete, but to live there, I'm not prepared to live. So
You wouldn't want to live there?
yeah, I don't.
You wouldn't want to? Yeah. So, do you like living in Cordova here where we live?
Yeah, it seems like a province.
Yeah. Hey, there's a foreigner escapes to the Philippines. He says, hi, Ben and Leelee from Mindanao. Hey, bro. Good to see you. I would really love to go down to Mindanao, but I don't know if it's in the cards or not. But thanks for signing on, and this is the first time Leelee's went live with me. I've done a few lives, but I got her to come on so she can kind of share her opinions too, because I'm always, yakking away about my opinions, but here she is to tell people her opinions. So, M. Martin from Sweden asked, "Is the food better in Cebu?" The traffic is not. Yes. We just ate at restaurants like Chowking and Chicken in a Sol. So the food we didn't experience like a lot of the local Carinderia type foods or anything like that. We just ate at the standard kind of chain restaurants. So to me, it was just as good. But Dumaguete definitely has less traffic, right?
Yeah, because they don't have taxi, they're just trike. So
Yeah, only trikes. That's the thing about Dumaguete. A lot of people don't realize they're so dependent on like Grab these days, and when they hear that they're gonna ride trikes, it kind of throws a wrench into their plan because they've researched so much about the Grab taxi, and they didn't factor in anything about actual, trike and how to navigate through those things. So, that's a thing for a lot of people. But since Martin's wife lives there, he already knows that stuff and he's prepared. So Foreigner Escapes to the Philippines says, "Great to see you too, bro. Come anytime." Well, that would be great. She's actually from Mindanao, Iligan City area, but she moved away from there to come to Cebu about 7 years ago, right? Or
10 years.
about 7 to 10 years, something like that. So, but she's familiar with the area, and so maybe someday we will go there because she does have some family that live there. So Martin said the Swedish government advised us not to go to Mindanao. Apparently not safe. Would be interesting to hear about that. Well, Foreigner Escapes to the Philippines is from there, and he has a YouTube channel too. So check it out, and he can kind of relay some info about his life there in Mindanao. He's got a really good setup and a really great family, and he's doing some pretty great things. So Foreigner Escapes to the Philippines is his YouTube channel, Martin, and maybe he can shed some light on it, and I can relay what he says. As far as my opinions about Mindanao now, I've been coming to the Philippines off and on for about 11 years, and I know a lot of people that have lived in like Davao and even some other areas of the Mindanao area, and they all love it. They swear by it, and it's got less crime in Davao, especially. It's the lowest crime rate in the country. It is the safest. It's the cleanest, and because the president used to be the mayor there, so he really did a lot to clean up the city and keep it, safe and secure. And I have a friend who's also a vlogger. His name's Randy Bryant, and he has a channel, Randy Bryant. And he has a bunch of information about living in Davao, so check him out. So let's see here. Foreigner Escapes to the Philippines says, "Okay, wow, we were married at the cathedral in Iligan City." Hey, do you know that place?
Well, for me, I don't really know about Mindanao because when I was there, I just, in the province, not explore the city, so I kind of like that. So if I go there again, I will be lost.
So yeah, because when you were there before, you just stuck to home pretty much, and you were a lot younger too. So
yeah, I was a kid like that.
So unfortunately, Foreigner Escapes to the Philippines. She doesn't know it, and if we went back there, evidently she would be lost. So is that where you live, kind of near Iligan City there, bro? Well, so Leelee, tell the people about what we've been doing the last couple of days. Oh, sorry. Cut. We're moving to a different subject. Foreigner escaped from the Philippines says no, Dipolog City. Okay, yeah, I forgot about that. I know you say that in your vlogs, but and I don't know that area very well at all, so I'm not sure if that's close to anything. I'm completely a fish out of water when it comes to Mindanao, and so is she because she didn't really explore it while she was there, and it was years and years ago. She was still a teenager when they moved away from there, but where she lived was a dangerous area, and the terrorists would come and demand rice from their family and demand crops and things that they grew. So it was really sketchy for them in the area that they lived in Mindanao, and the reason why they came to Cebu is because of all the issues with the terrorists, right?
Yes. But some area of Mindanao is safe and some is not. So you need to be careful if you go to Mindanao.
Hey, check this out. He says, my wife Lilibeth says Leelee looks familiar to her.
I don't know.
You don't know, yeah. Who knows? I mean, she's got family there, so you never know. How old are you?
I'm
100?
20.
You're 100?
I'm 26.
She's 26. So, I don't know if that matters or factors in. Hey, Maria came on. She said, wow, so far from here, but happy to both of you. But Iligan City is a nice place. Well, now, for people that don't know, Maria is one of the best barbecue cookers in all of Balboa, Cordova. So she's good friends of ours, and she cooks really good barbecue, and she just recently started selling fruit. So we always go down there a couple times a week and buy from them. So great to see you, Maria. Thanks for signing on. Hi, my friend, she said. Hello. We're just signing on live, just answering questions, and this is the first time Leelee's come on, so we thought it would be interesting. He says, foreigner escapes in the Philippines says, because Lilibeth grew up there, she's 39. Well, you never know. I mean, it's so intertwined and intermixed that, maybe she knew family members and things, and like I said, she's got a sister that lives there and a brother still, so maybe, the world is a small world. We always say that. What a small world. So you never know, right? That would be kind of cool.
That's right.
That would be cool if you guys had some kind of connection, right?
Yeah, I have a sister there, a brother, and also a nephew, so there's a lot there.
A sister, brother, and a nephew?
Yep.
Nice. Yeah. So, we will eventually go there. I know that she's kind of a little bit afraid of it, but I don't have fears of that things. I've been in Alaska fighting grizzly bears and and doing all those things. So my fears of people have kind of dwindled. Not saying I'm naive, but I've done some pretty radical things in my past. And foreigner escaped to the Philippines. He knows what I'm talking about when it comes to Alaska and the grizzlies. So, and he said, yes, you never know. Thank you, guys. All right, thanks, bro. Nice seeing you. Thank you. So, Leelee, yesterday we did interviews, and the previous day, and even tomorrow we're doing another interview, interviewing expat couples. How was that experience for you? Did you enjoy it?
Well, for me, actually, I'm kind of shy, but maybe if I go always with you when you interview, maybe I will be more talkative.
Sure. Yeah. You're smart and you have a good grasp on English. You're good with English. So I think the more you do things, the less your fears are in the front, and you overcome your fears. So Maria said, so sweet. Oh, yes, we're sweet. That's right. We're the sweet ones of a bow bow. But yeah, so we did the interviews and it was enjoyable. We're having a little, we're having a little bit of issue with the footage and the sound. So we have to fix that problem so that the viewers can enjoy the experience more. Like right now, we have it vertical and we have to really scrunch together to try to get our faces in. But we tried to do it horizontal and it wouldn't let us for the live. So, do what you can. And quite frankly, I'm really ignorant to this stuff. And, unfortunately, a lot of people do speak really great English here, but it's vastly different than, like, say, when I have a product I want to purchase and I go to the mall in the States and I have questions, I can ask, questions till I'm blue in the face and get all the information, everything I need, and get directed and even put the product right in my hand. Here, although people speak pretty good English, it's not very informative to me. So when I bought different microphones and things, they haven't really worked out well for us. So, Foreigner Escapes to the Philippines says, "Oh wow, I didn't know you worked in Alaska. I worked in Alaska's Prudhoe Bay for 30 years." Well, that's what attracted me to your channel, bro. Is I saw a short. For some reason, one of your shorts popped up on our feed, and you were talking about how you worked in Alaska. So I made a comment that I'd been to Alaska a few times and mined for gold. Specifically, I mined the first summer in the Petersville Gold District, and I went to a couple private claims there eventually, and experienced that. And then I came back the next summer and did it again, and then a few smaller trips. But yeah, just not 30 years like you, just a few years of experience up there in Alaska. So yeah, I love Alaska, and in fact, going to Alaska is what gave me the gumption to start traveling, because I didn't do much. Dot Connector says, "Is the show just buffering for me?" I don't know. How's the view for everybody else? Can you see us? Dot Connector says he's having issues seeing us, but you guys are seeing us besides Dot? Buffering here a lot. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the Philippines. We have a fiber internet connection, but there was a typhoon that swooped by, but it didn't hit Cebu or anything. But the weather's been kind of cruddy because of that. Maybe that's bogging it down. So Martin is in Sweden, and he says it's buffering a lot. A Foreigner Escapes to the Philippines says we look good, and he's in the Philippines. And for Maria, it was working, and she's just down the road from us. So Martin said, "Happy I'm not watching a porno," and then he retracted it. That's okay. That was funny. Exactly. It's not important.
Yeah, but they ask you if you eat balut.
Dot's in Sweden also? Wow! Well, you guys are practically neighbors. Oh, and by the way, earlier I was speaking to Dot, and he suggested that I set up kind of like I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's like, it says "buy me a coffee" on some people's thing. So I set that up, but I put "buy me some rice." So all of that money that goes into that donation is going to go for me to buy rice for the locals. So if you guys choose to use that feature or not, 5 kilos of rice goes for about 255 pesos, which is right around $5. So $5 can buy 5 kilos of rice for a family. So if you consider doing that, That'd be great. So Foreigner Escapes to the Philippines says, take care. We love you guys. Love you too, bro. Thanks for signing on and talking to us. Take care. Say goodbye.
Goodbye. God bless. Enjoy your family there. You live in Regan, right?
Yeah. Don't forget to speak up loud, because we're talking to people clear across the world, so sometimes it's hard to hear and hard to see.
Yeah, it seems like you're happy.
Well, I am half, and so are you, but you there. See, we'll get your face in, and we'll cut off my ugly face in this half, so no problem.
You're fearfully and wonderfully made.
Oh.
Well, God never lied, so what He say is true.
Yeah, that's right. So that's a bummer that we're not coming through clearly to some people here, but hopefully it picks up speed. Let me turn off my other device. Maybe that's gumming up the works a little bit. Turn off the Wi-Fi on this one. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. And thank you very much, by the way, Dot. I don't know if you can hear, but thank you very much for earlier. We really appreciate it. And that's going to go directly to someone, a family that really needs, a boost. So we appreciate it. That'll buy 5 kilos of rice. So thanks a million. Appreciate it. So it's good that Dot says it seems better at the moment. So right on. That's progress. So fantastic. So while she's never here, does anybody have any questions for her? Make them really hard questions, like get to the nitty gritty of it and really challenge her. That would be great.
Alright.
I mean, your face on here lit up our views. We have a lot more than normally I have, so congrats for that. But yeah, so, we're just doing our day-to-day thing. She's almost 3.5 months pregnant, and, we're just trying to eat, healthier a little bit, but she kind of likes her snacks. So, she's grubbing on the banana breads and stuff. But, like today when I made food, I forced her to eat some cauliflower and some potatoes. So she got some good veggies in her. So that was good. Talk to the camera, don't use the scissors. You're like a...
Well, he don't force me, I just eat because he kind of thinking that I don't like his cooking, but I like it.
You don't need to have something in your hands.
Okay.
Huh? I'm not gonna pick that up. It's fine where it is. No problem. So yeah. We've just been busy, doing our YouTube stuff and hanging out at home like usual. It's rainy season, so same old, same old. I mean, we're M. Martin says maybe we're too busy being nude fighting polar bears. Well, I don't know. That sounds interesting. Be careful. That'd be a scratch you can't itch if you get too close to those guys. But we're not doing anything flashy or anything. The direction of our channel is pretty much to show living like a local. We're not tourists, so we're staying home and just doing our thing. And occasionally, since we're in paradise, of course we'll go places and do stuff. But it's not going to be like our prime directive as far as what we do and the things we show. So, and of course, I'm going to be trying to focus on doing expat couple interviews. I think that's pretty fun. But the challenge is to find enough couples to keep it viable. I have a Facebook page, and I started a expat group on Facebook, and I'm trying to cherry pick people from that, but so far not very many people have bit. But as I move forward, that'll be the direction that I'll try to go in, as long as I have options for that content. So we'll see. I don't know, but it's fun. I like doing it.
Yeah, it's nice because you can hear also some of their story, how they meet, and what their dislike and like.
Right? Yeah.
And also about the Philippines and their age gap.
The age gap. Yeah, a lot of people seemed, well, not a lot of people, because of course there wasn't a ton of comments, but there was one or two comments about the age gap difference. Hey, there's JJ. What's up, dude? I got Leelee on here finally. I'm trying to get her out of her comfort zone and come out of her shell a little bit. We were just talking about that earlier, about her shyness and her overcoming her fears. So this is kind of a step in that direction.
That's right.
That's right. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm a very outgoing person. I mean, I used to be in a rock band. I've sang in front of like 10,000 people. I've gotten up on stage, countless times with a lot of people in the audience. So I'm kind of into the attention. So it doesn't bother me at all. So Dot Connector asks, what's an appropriate age gap there? Well, frankly, there isn't parameters on it. One of the common things from the two interviews that we've actually put in the can, finished, two of the interviews, both of the girls said that they have gotten negative feedback from Filipinos for their age gap. So, what about you? Let's talk about you. The Filipinas that we spoke to, they said that everybody that said negative comments were speaking in Bisaya. So have people said to you negative things about us?
No, actually, I don't hear about people say negative about you because, in fact, I heard them say that you're a good foreigner.
They said that I was a good foreigner?
Yes.
Boy, were they wrong. I don't know what they were smoking.
And you don't see about like you're old or anything about that.
Nothing like that?
No.
So, I think it just depends. Kind of like if you're really old, and people don't really ask. They do ask me my age, but again, I'm kind of a joker. So when people say, and it's common people will ask because they're curious about that. I think they're trying to figure out an angle in to see what our age gap is. But I always say, they say, how old are you? And I'm like, 100. And they're like, what? And they start laughing, and I say, yeah, I got good surgery, plastic surgery, and a good doctor,
Yeah,
and I just distract it from there, and so then I get them off track, and they never really find out what our age is. But evidently, according to her, and she's honest, we haven't had that talk. But one couple, the couple we have up with Carlos and Lynn, they have a 37-year age gap, and Lynn was talking about how the Filipinos are very judgmental of her. And then the video that we haven't put up, that is an even bigger age gap of 43 or 44 years, and they have had a lot of negative feedback also. So I would guess that it just depends on the look of the foreigner. Like if he looks significantly older and the girl looks significantly younger, then you're going to get that kind of feedback. But as far as like a specific year, I don't know how to pinpoint it. I think it's just up to other people. So JJ Course said, Leelee, good to see you. We miss you on the vids.
Yeah, thank you for always supporting and for always there watching our video and comment.
Speak up. Talk loud so he can hear you. She hasn't appeared on a lot of videos, but she's very involved in looking and watching the videos and reading the comments. And so she said, thank you for always supporting us, JJ, because she knows that you always are commenting. So, and then JJ says, Ben, your age gap ain't that big. What is disgusting is these old guys with the 18-year-olds. Yeah, I mean, that can be off-putting to a lot of people. But again, I've seen it, quite a bit over the years. And there are scenarios of, the 18-year-old girl, for example, who was orphaned, and she didn't have anybody taking care of her, except maybe fortunately like an aunt or an uncle. But the love isn't really the same, when an aunt or an uncle is raising you, as opposed to like if it's a blood mother or a blood father. So the life is really, really tough. And an 18-year-old who experiences hunger and typhoons and death and misery is light years different than an 18-year-old in the West. Of course, they're still naive in a lot of ways, but they have they know what life is really about. Granted, that can end terribly. It can, the girl might just be in it 100% for the cash, but we really don't know the motives and the intentions. So it's tough to, say, this person shouldn't do this or that person shouldn't do that. Mostly, I think it's, not my place to get involved in that, although the stigma of it is still very fully existent here. So M.M. Martin said, Dot, I was 35 when I met my wife, and she was 23. Not okay, but now I'm 45, and she is 33. Acceptable. Well, I mean, again, and Dot, he was saying that to you to answer your question. And Dot said, Filipinos seem way more mature than Western women. Now, in a lot of ways they are, because of those things that I noted. The deaths, the typhoons, the struggle. Western women don't know how it is to only eat rice for a week and have nothing else. These things build into them what's really, really a true struggle. Over in the West, I can't afford those jeans that Marcia has, and those are their kinds of struggles. There's not a lot of hunger and desperation. I mean, there is, of course, in the United States, but it's far, far less than here, where it's countrywide. So, like Leelee, you've experienced times when your family only had like rice to eat, correct?
Yeah, not even rice, just like banana or vegetable to eat for the whole day. So it's hard.
Speak up.
I don't know.
Come on.
I don't want to say.
What? You're saying fine. So, so you said that you have experienced that, and it was difficult for you, right?
Yeah, it's difficult, especially if I grew up without father, so just my mom raising me and my other sibling.
Right.
But we survived.
You made it. Thank God. Randy Bryant just signed on. He says, all 18-year-olds are naive. It takes life experience to grow. Absolutely. And even a lot of 25-year-olds are naive, and um, it just takes experience and circumstances that can make people more mature as they struggle through the to make it. But of course, I would prefer, like, if I had a daughter, I prefer that she became older than 18 before she got with anybody. That's just me, and I think that's a lot of fathers think those things. So Dot Connector answered Martin and said that seems close compared to others I've seen on YouTube. Yeah, that is a pretty small gap. That's not uncommon, and that's not even uncommon 10 years in the West. So yeah, let me scroll back here because comments. Dot, many are forced to grow up quicker, said M. Martin. So JJ said Ben and Leelee look great and are a good fit. Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Louder. So, well, we were blessed to know each other, and we have a pretty big gap, but it's working out so far. I mean, she's experienced a lot of hardship in her life, and she's, far more mature than a girl her age in the West. I mean, that's just apparent. But I try to be, agreeable and adaptable, and I think she does the same thing too. So Randy Bryant says, I was a foster parent for years and have seen many families that have no food, but there are more opportunities to get help, like food banks and such. Yes, and so if they seek the resources, then the food is generally available to them, as opposed to here, where there is no food bank system and things like that, and you can really experience what actual hunger is and struggle. So yeah, very true, Randy. So Dot and asked Martin, how sending money to the Philippines? My biggest fear that my Swedish bank will lock my account. So you guys go ahead and banter about that back and forth, because that'll be helpful to you both. I personally don't know about any of that. I know in the West, I have to lean over, and it's making my back kind of kinked. In the West, as long as you notify your banks and whatnot, then you're usually good. And if you have any issues, then you just got to get a hold of them. But so far, so good for us. And Martin said, use Western Union or World Remit. I always use World Remit. They can go Gcash or bank deposit. That's good advice for you, Dot. Try that. Yeah, and also, I heard that Western Union has a yearly limit on the amount of transfers. It's like 30 some odd transfers a year. They don't ban you completely, but they'll shut you off after 30. So, and I use Western Union strictly. So I've probably done 20 already. So we'll see how that goes. I hope that I don't really know what I will do when Western Union cuts me off when I go over the limit. Is there a way to... that's better.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. No more buffering. Oh, good. Fantastic. Yeah, I turned off my Wi-Fi on the other phone. Hopefully that contributed to that. I don't know. Again, I'm a technological idiot, so I have no idea. Fantastic. That's great. I'm glad that it's coming in clear, because nobody wants to see that swirl. That's boring. I'm glad you stuck with it and had the patience to hang on. So Thanks for that. So, yeah. Here's a question for you, Leelee. Leelee, how are you feeling these days? JJ asks. Do you have a lot of cravings?
So far I don't really cravings, but mostly I just eat like fruit and vegetable. But about barbecue, like the smell of it, I don't really like for now. But I eat a snack always.
Lots of snacks.
Yeah.
Um,
And thank you for watching anyway and for the concern.
okay, so yes, to summarize, JJ, she doesn't have any specific cravings, but she has things that she has an aversion to, like the smells of certain foods. She doesn't necessarily like certain fried foods right now, and some of the barbecued smells she doesn't enjoy either. So Martin asks what time in Cebu right now, and it is 10:21
PM.
p.m., not a.m. You have another question, Leelee. Would you ever want to travel to USA? Dot asked.
Well, if God will, we can, like, yeah, why not? Like, travel there and see other places and experience and, visit, not just. But I don't really want to live there. I like Philippines, so if I go there, maybe just vacation.
You wouldn't want to live there, maybe just vacation.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Better to explore the world.
yeah, right? um, yeah, well, I don't want to get too political or anything, but the major thing that inhibits us from going to the United States is the requirement to get the shot. So that's all I'll say about that. Kiss, keep it simple survival, says hello. And
Hi. Kumusta?
Kumusta? Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping in. JJ Kors says, agree, just travel and stay in the Phillies. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, I personally do not want to live anywhere in the West, or I should say the United States. I don't know about other Western nations. I'm sure and I'm hoping that they're better than the state of what the States is in. But I love the Philippines. I would never want to live anywhere else. I really, really want her to experience, getting on an airplane and going somewhere else. Like any other country. She would love to go to Israel. And Israel is actually a visa-free. You can enter in Israel as a Filipino for 30 days, just the same as how Americans can come here. So there are places that I'm looking forward to taking her. So that would be fantastic to be able to get you, to experience travel, because it broadens your horizons. Let's see here. JJ Kors says second to the Phillies is Latin America. Yeah, I would love to check those places out too. But I landed in the Philippines a long time ago. I love it, and but it would be definitely worth checking out to go over to places over there in Latin America. That'd be fantastic. Right?
That's right.
That's right. So Dot asks, are there any COVID requirements entering the PH at the moment? Yes.
There is still?
There is still. I don't pay as much attention because I'm here already, but I occasionally look it up to see if they have dropped the restriction as far as needing a negative test. So if you are unvaccinated or you don't have proof of vaccination, then you are required to get a swab test 24 hours before you get on your plane to come to the Philippines. There's no more quarantine, there's none of that stuff, But if you're unvaxxed, then you have to get, it's not just unvaxxed. If you don't have a certificate to prove that you have been vaccinated, then you need to show a negative test. So that's the current requirements right now, Dot. That's what's up with it.
Yeah, but it's like because COVID is already gone, but oh well, that's the rule, the requirements.
Yeah, that's the requirements, but eventually that's gonna fade away too. But for now, they haven't done anything with it. It's still in existence. So. Here's another comment. JJ says, in Latin America, there is an island I'm interested to buy, but want to get out of the mainland. But will do all that after visiting Philippines. Maybe Phillies will change my mind. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of good things about the Philippines, but there's also certain things that people dislike about it, and it really just depends on what your adaptability and whether you're willing to compromise certain things. But you have the benefit of being able to compare the two, which I don't. So I can't really say to you, which would be better, because I don't know anything about Latin America. Maybe you have the ability to speak Spanish, because I know that a lot of people over there, it is different. They don't speak a lot of English. Some places do, but it's definitely not as fluent as most of the places are in the Philippines. I mean, you can go anywhere and find somebody that will speak English and enough for you to understand and for you to navigate through your situations. But, don't let that stop you. I mean, how many people have moved to Latin America and absolutely loved it and it changed their lives? So, it's just pretty much up to your individual preference. I can't really speak to it because I don't know, any comparisons. So, but either place would be awesome. If you can own an island, give me a break, man. That'd be fantastic. So, sing a song.
Right. Hey, I'm not a singer. He is a singer.
Oh, I'm not a singer.
Hey, you told that you sing in the band, so.
Well, so what? Anyways, yeah. So I'm glad that we got Leelee on the live here. Well, your face is cut off, so I'd rather have your face in the view because they don't get to see you. They always see this ugly mug. They don't see you, so although they wouldn't let us go horizontal for the live, I don't know why. And I did try, you guys. I really did try because I wanted the full view for you, but they wouldn't let it. It wouldn't work. I don't know why. Probably my own error. I probably started it out in vertical and then it wouldn't let me switch or something. Beats me. Don't care. But this is what we got. And so you can see half my face like this, and you can see hopefully all of her face. That's where we're going with it. That's fine. They see me all the time. They don't see you, so yeah. So next I want to take her to Leyte. I think that would be, because it's close, I really, really would love to go to Mindanao, but it's very far. So I think the next place that I want to travel to would be Leyte. JJ said the problem with the Phillies is you can't own property right out. There's also 3 islands for sale as a package, but can't own it. That's the only reason what makes Latin America more secure. Yeah, that's an unfortunate thing about the Philippines. If Filipinos go to the United States, they are afforded the benefit of, in comparison to the Philippines, they can become citizens a lot faster, a lot easier. They can own land, they can work, they can do all these things, but as it was explained to me by several Filipinos, um, if foreigners could buy land here in the Philippines, the Chinese would buy it all up, and then the property values would skyrocket, and then the Filipino locals, the citizens, would be even knocked further down the ladder because it's already unaffordable for the locals. And if foreigners could buy land, they would buy it all up. And there's models and examples of this throughout the whole world. So they have to kind of have that protection. I understand. Ouch. I understand it. Although it is unfortunate. It would be nice if they would allow foreigners to work. Even though the salaries would be less, so what? We allow the Filipinos to work. It'd be great, but I don't want to get into politics. That's not my thing. We're not supposed to talk about politics, but in general, that would be a good improvement for sure. Yeah. Let's see here. Dot asks, does Leelee ever want to buy land and build a house? Speak up.
Yeah, that's one of my dreams, to have own land and a house.
You gotta talk louder.
Maybe they can hear me.
I don't know, but it's not hard to raise your voice, right? So you can raise your voice.
Yeah, I want to buy land maybe someday and have own house, farm, animals. It's kind of nice.
Yeah. Because why? What did you do? We can hear her, he said. Good, that's great. I'm just so paranoid about sound, lately and whatnot. I want to make sure that everybody can hear everybody. But, before I came here, what were you doing up in Tap Tap? Tell them that.
Oh well, before he came here, I just in the province, in the farm, and take care of the goat and
Goats.
yeah, I'm a goat woman.
She's a goat woman?
So what?
Oh no, it's great. Before I came here, the pandemic was going on, and she was always sending me pictures of her goats. And she bought one goat, right, or two goats or something. And
Well, I buy two goats and we have babies, so they multiply.
right, so the herd grew while you were tending to them. So she knows what she's doing with the goats, that's for sure. And you also grew some bananas, right?
Yeah, I plant banana there. In fact, my mom is already eat the fruit of the banana.
We didn't get to harvest them, but her mom harvested bananas.
But
And
the banana is bigger than this there in the province, because we call that banana American banana. So it's bigger.
you had the big saging, right? What they call it.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, Dot, we would love to buy land and build a house because I have so many different things that I've done in life. But one of the things that I did as a profession was I worked in an indoor herbal garden. We'll just call it that. And I did that as the manager of it, and I loved growing. And I always had my own crops at home, But here in the apartment, I can't even grow chilies on the balcony because the sun is on the opposite side. So I'm missing that, and that would be really fantastic to be able to do. JD said, "Oh yeah, that makes sense to keep it out of the hands of China." Yeah, exactly. That's just something that happened. Like in Mexico, a lot of Americans started buying up all the good properties, and it became difficult for the locals. So
Yeah, but so far the one who own land here in the Philippines is mostly like Chinese people, especially in the province. Like they make buildings, like business, or like tourist spot.
yeah, it's ironic. Like what she just said. She said mostly the Chinese somehow they figure out how to get land, and They do have a lot of businesses. They have a lot of apartments. They have a lot of high rises and restaurants and things. So they have a way of doing it, but it's more difficult for us, I guess. So, yeah. Oh, Dot asks, what kind of animals would you want to raise?
Well, I also like to have cow because cow is, if you sell it, is more.
Oh, sorry, it was JJ that asked that. So you said that you would like to raise cow?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cow is actually a really good animal to raise here. We just recently did an interview with Dan and Rochelle. They're on our YouTube there. We did an interview with them, and they have a cow, and it has had a baby, and they sold it, and they made really good money. I think they said like, and I can't 100% remember, but I think they said 30K or something for the baby. So if you have several cows and you have several babies and you have people to sell them to, that can be a steady flow of income for them. But as you might have saw, they're going to Canada. And they're selling their cow. So if you get here quick, you can buy their cow, probably at a good deal. See, Martin says, come to Sweden. We have meatballs and IKEA.
What's IKEA?
IKEA is like a store that sells like furniture and appliances and electronics and things. So, yeah, that'd be great. But really, there's
very far.
Very far. Yeah, it's very far. But here you can get all those things, and they have meatballs here, but they're probably going to be pork, so which is fine. I don't know. So JJ asks Leelee, do the animals? Oh, he says Leelee, do the animals and Ben the planting. Great team. Yeah, you can tend to the goats and the chickens and things, and I'll do the gardening. Now, which is fine with me because I would become attached to the chickens. I know that I would. And then I'd have names for them and everything else, and then we'd have to kill them, and I would cry or something. It would be chaos. It would
and you probably don't want to sell it.
No, I wouldn't. That would be a struggle for me. So you raise the animals, I'll grow the food.
Well, we can have like chicken for produce egg. It's good.
Dot says, I gave away my late wife's goats last year after her passing. Well, I'm sorry to hear that about your loss, bro. I didn't know that. I didn't know that, man, and I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's really sad. Hopefully you're on the mend from that, and that's a big loss, and I know that's hard to overcome. So hang in there, bro. Then he said goats are good because they eat any plants. Now, you know about the goats.
Yeah, they just eat grass, so you don't need to buy food for them because they just eat grass. So
They just
good.
eat what is around them, and hopefully they don't eat the good plants, right?
Well, if you're not careful, you're not tie your goat, of course, will eat. So you need to corral them.
That's right. Let's see. JJ says cattle is good investment. You can sell and eat. It's an investment that grows.
Yeah. In fact, in my province, there is a businessman there that his business is cow. So he buy cow and also sell it.
Yeah.
And he become rich for that.
He became rich?
Yeah, he have a very huge house. And
Well, let's do it. Come on. Forget this YouTube crap. Let's raise cows.
oh well, the problem is, I don't know.
You don't know? Well, I mean, yeah, I would love to explore all those avenues in the future. So, like I said last week, I'm going to be trying to stay here, and so but I always have the ability to go back and work in my back pocket. So if I can make my three little things work here, then I'll just stay here and let it snowball. And I'm pretty industrious type, so I'll figure out ways to supplement. So, but eventually, yeah, we want to get a place. We would like to have a cow. We would like to have chickens and grow most of our own food, because that saves so much money. I mean, you grow your own food.
Yeah, vegetable. You just buy rice and fish.
Right. I wouldn't want to grow rice, but I would definitely want to grow, corn and okra
Oh
and
yeah,
cucumber.
it's easy to grow corn.
Yeah, corn's easy, eggplant's easy. Um, all of those staple kind of crops I've grown before and know how. So JJ says there's an island there they call the Cattle Island. Farmers there basically just have cow farms. Well, that would be great, if they would start importing a lot of that beef to Cebu, because in your typical market, you don't have your choice of any good cuts of meat from cow. So
It's very rare to find. It's hard to find cow meat here.
yeah, well, we found some, but it's just low quality, and I ask a few people here and there. In fact, I asked the expat couples, and they have good places they go to in Cebu City. And I don't want to go grocery shopping all the way in Cebu City. It's it's going to cost us $20+ just round trip to go get it. So I pass on the beef and just eat what's available. A lot of chicken and a lot of fish, and the occasional pork. But I won't buy the meat from the wet market because of its exposure. It sits up all day and it's non-refrigerated. Get down! No. So I there's a butcher right at the main road, the end of our Barangay Street, and we buy chicken it's in the freezer, and we occasionally buy some pork there, which I'm not a huge fan of, but it's for variety. And we do buy our fish from the markets, but we pretty much do pretty good by getting fresh stuff. JJ said, how big is the property you guys are interested in? I don't know. Haven't really delved too deeply into it. As things progress, then we'll be more ready to do those things. But just on my short bit of research, like I told you before, I'm looking at Masbate, and the name Masbate means gold. And there's a reason why they call it gold, is because there's a lot of gold there. And also there's a town called Placer. So you got Placer Masbate. That's like saying gold. So that's really interesting to me because I'm a prospector. So yeah, no real size or anything, but Masbate is significantly more affordable than Cebu and a lot of the surrounding areas, and it's one of the lowest prices. So that's where we're looking at. So Dot asks, do they sell animal fat there for cooking? If so, from which animals?
I don't really know about that.
You don't know about that?
Yeah.
Well, I know, I've seen it a little bit, and it's mostly pork. But of course, there's probably a source for pork, chicken, and other things. In Cebu City, near the IT parks, that's where all the Westerners live. And there's even some hotbeds in Mactan near the airport where a lot of expats live. So pretty much, if you're willing to pay a little premium, then you can pretty much get whatever you want. Steaks and burger and probably the type of animal fat that you desire. Um, but yeah, I don't really like to pay for extra. I don't care about the Western diet. I just eat what's available to me, and I'm fat, so if I can just, you know, if I avoid like the beef and stuff like that, like I can like lose weight, I think, off of that. So yeah, I mean, but you can pretty much get whatever you want if you're willing to pay a little bit more for it. That's how it works here. Um, JJ said Leelee is glowing. Can see she has a bunch in the oven. That you don't know what that means, do you?
No.
That means pregnant. They say that when women are pregnant, that you can see it on their face, and they often say that women glow when they're pregnant. And he says you're glowing.
Oh, thank you so much. Maybe because it's hot here, so
Because it's hot.
the sweetie. But kid is the blessing from God. So thank God he blessed us a child.
That's right. And then he asked another question. He said, Ben, did you start the process for Leelee's passport yet? No. Oh yeah, bun in the oven. Yeah. Well, I got what you meant. No problem. Did you start the process for Leelee's passport? JJ asks. Not really. We know the first couple of steps to take, but we haven't taken them yet. We did the Dumageddon, and then we've just been busy, I guess, doing the interviews and traversing those kind of things. And there's really no rush because we're not going to be traveling anywhere on a plane for over a year anyways. So but that's the thing. They have it's not new anymore, but they a couple of years ago, I think right as the pandemic hit, the Philippines was implementing what's called a national ID, and her and her family applied for the national ID, and she hasn't gotten hers yet. So that's a hiccup, and it's kind of difficult to acquire. And we were just talking to somebody about that like 2 days ago too in the mall. She had the national ID, and I asked her, how long did that take you to get? And she said over a year. So it's been well over a year for her too, and she hasn't even got it. But we're working on just getting a bank account in her name. So we have to do a couple of steps to do that, and then once that happens, then if we can get that stupid national ID, then she can get her passport. So we'll see. Dot said, "Is that your first child for both of you? How many kids do you have?"
Well, this is my first child for you, but for you, you have a son before. So
Yeah, I have.
Second child.
I have a son. He's grown and he's living in the United States. Doing really well. He's a manager, or no, he's like a district manager of a grocery store there. So he makes really good money doing that, and he's doing well.
Yeah, and his son is older than me.
I wasn't gonna say that, but it's true. I had him when I was really young and wild. I have kind of a sordid past that I don't really speak of too much, but I was, a rock and roller. My parents tossed me out of the house because I wouldn't cut my hair. It was like the Beastie Boys song, "I'll kick you out of that house if you don't cut your hair." Well, my mom came in, on fire one day and was freaking out because I had Playboy magazine centerfolds on my wall, of naked girls, and she was going through her super religious phase, and I had hair down, to almost to my butt, and I was, experimenting and playing in rock bands and stuff. I was like almost 17 at the time, and she told me, cut your hair and start going to church or get out. So, me being the rebel that I was, I got out. I didn't cut my hair or do anything, and it created a division between my parents for several years. I wouldn't even speak to them. But yeah, I did the whole partying thing. I really liked. I moved to New Mexico and started singing there and partying there. A lot of psychedelics were rampant. The Native Americans there, which they don't like to be called Native Americans, but um, had the sacred herb that you could acquire. So I did a lot of those kind of things and broadened my horizons, and opened up my third eye and all that crap. But yeah, so. But I had a kid, when I was pretty young, so he's already an adult now. So, but yeah, it's her first child. It'll be my second, and I always wanted to have more kids, but I just couldn't find, the woman who wanted to have more, especially in the States. Once they were older, they didn't want to deal with, because I talked about it with several people, and they were like, they already had their kids and they just wanted to experience their older days, on their own. So yeah, that's basically the answer to that. Let's see, JJ Core said it make for a good video. Lots of people want to know the process. Will only be good to have a passport for a backup, like you said, one day at a time. Yeah, a lot of people would. A lot of people would. Want to see that process, absolutely, and hopefully we can document it in moving in the future and show people how to do it. That would be great. So here's a question for you. It's from Dot, and he says, Leelee, do all Filipinos want children, or do some not?
Well, I guess it's different for the woman, but mostly they like to have children, especially if they don't have kids. But if they are single moms, so maybe they don't want anymore, maybe they just stick to the one child. But it's different. But for me, I like child, so that's why.
Yeah. Well, I'll just expound upon that. We just did another interview today with a couple that has a significant age gap. I mean,
Yeah.
the other age gap was significant, but this one's even more. And he's older, and she's 30, right? And she doesn't have any kids, and it's kind of up in the air. I'm gonna post that video probably tomorrow evening because it was really good. The people, they touched me in a lot of ways because they were really sweet. But she's okay with not having kids. She just says if it happens, it happens, but she's not opposed to the idea of not having any kids. But I'll be uploading that tomorrow, and you'll hear her talk about that. But yeah, there are some that don't care, but especially if there's a mother, like a single mother or a mom who's already had some kids, then your odds of finding somebody that doesn't want more kids goes way up. But in general, family, as you know, is extremely important to Filipinos. So some girls, it's a prerequisite. So if you're have an aversion to having kids, it'll limit your pool a little bit, but a lot of people will evolve to your preference for sure. M.M. Martin says, I always wondered why not more dairy products in Philippines. Milk cows are common everywhere else. Well, things must have changed a little bit because one of the comments here was that there's an island where they raise cows, and I hadn't really heard about any industry, like a dairy industry. But 11 years ago when I first started coming here, there was like nothing. Everything that came here was imported. It's hard to even get dairy-based cheese, and it still is. So, sounds like they're improving that, and it's catching on, but it's still not widespread. Like they have milk here. They have milk here, but it's few and far between, and a lot of it is powdered, or it's in like the cartons, that are.
It's not pure.
Yeah, it's not pure something. But again, if you go to the places where expats shop, you can find anything. It's gonna be more expensive. So yeah. Well, especially it's not necessarily common here. No, it sounds like, according to JJ, that they are ramping up that industry a little bit. So JJ says, Ben, what I can get from what you are saying, it will be easier for someone like me to find a woman with a passport to be able to travel. Process to obtain takes a year or longer. No. You can find, there's a lot of women that have passports already. I don't know the length of time. I know that just like in the West, you can pay to expedite the passport process. So as long as the girl has like all of the pre-requirements for a passport, I would think it would streamline the process. Leelee's situation is a little bit different because she was up in the province, and she was tending to her goats and the farm and stuff. She didn't really have a need to acquire all that ID. But girls down that aren't living in that situation, and they tend to have more the necessary ID. So I think you could get it a lot quicker than a year. Sorry, Martin. I forgot to answer the question if I eat balut. I don't eat them, no, but I have eaten one, and it's kind of like a rite of passage. When you come here, everybody wants you to at least try a balut, and years and years and years I resisted. But the funny thing is why'd the light change a little? But the funny thing is the reason for our name of the channel, Philippines Extremes, is because we planned on eating nasty foods and
like warm, balot, exotic, but it's not.
Yeah, like eating obscure foods like the grubs and weird stuff. But when we got here, we didn't really know where to source any of that crap, so our name doesn't really go with our content at all. We're not very extreme at all. In fact, we're like conservative. So, but we've become well enough known as under this moniker, so we just stuck to it. So I did eat a balut one time. I didn't think it was disgusting, but I didn't go, oh wow, that's so delicious, I want more. So I tried it, scratched it off the list, and I'll probably never do it again. So yeah, that's my experience with the balutes. So Ken and Lynn, Canuck Summers, Pinoy Winters, came on and said Masbate is the ranch location. Cattle versus personal growing of plants. Government pushed agriculture decades ago. P.S. New Zealand butter, etc. Excellent sources. Ayala Malls, we found New Zealand milk. Yeah, so I mean, Ayala is right near the hubbub of where all the expats hang out. And, you can find, like I was saying, you can find anything over there. It's probably just a little bit more expensive. So, then he said, good morning from Canada. Hey, thanks. I'm glad you caught me. We came on the live specifically for people, over on that side of the country so that they could get a chance to talk to us, because I know over here it's nighttime, but over there it's, early morning in a lot of places. So nice to see you. Appreciate it. And I don't know if you know Leelee, but they live in Canada half of the year, and then the other half of the year they come to the Philippines. And guys, they have a channel too. It's right there on the screen. Ken and Lynn, Canuck Summers, Pinoy Winters, and let me tell you, this guy is a wealth of knowledge. He's very articulate and informative. So check out his channel, guys, because I get a kick out of watching his videos, and it's refreshing. So. And he says, we're heading back to Cebu in October. Yeah, that's awesome. I bet you're excited. Like I always say, get out of the West and come here. So I'm sure you're looking forward to being here in October. That'd be fantastic. JJ says, did the storm catch you guys too? Some areas was flooded. No, we got an extra bit of rain, and it doesn't matter what amount of rain. When it rains here, our rocky streets tend to get puddles anyways, but it wasn't bad. I have a friend that lives near the area where it actually did touch down, and they have a huge farm, corn, mango, the whole deal. And I just saw a video she posted earlier where all of her corn got wiped out, and several trees fell, and she has cows too over there. So it was pretty bad in some areas, but it didn't touch us. It didn't touch us at all. So just a little extra rain. Let's see here. Thanks so much, says Ken and Lynn from Canucks Summers, Pinoy Winters. You're welcome. I mean that. I enjoy watching it. It's refreshing. Some people don't have the ability to disseminate, their information and articulate it on camera, but you do a good job. So MM Martin said, do you rule the karaoke? Well, I don't know. I did some karaoke a little while ago, and I don't know if I necessarily ruled it. Some good, some bad. It's kind of like The Voice is a use it or lose it kind of thing, and I did it professionally, or semi-professionally. Well, I did it hoping to be professional with it, and I was pretty decent at it back in the day, but I haven't sung a lot, so I had to work out the kinks and get it warm, and I didn't really do any of that stuff. But I can sing, but I don't necessarily rule it. Although when I did a Chris Cornell Audio Slave song, and everybody pulled out their cell phones and started recording me, but that doesn't mean anything. And JD says, sorry for your friend. Sad. Yeah, it was a pretty big loss for them. But they're resilient. They're so resilient, and she'll bounce back. So Ken and Lynn Canuck Summers, Pinoy Winters said, we had one storm night last Christmas, 1,500 liters of water off a 30 square meter roof under 8 hours. We have 1,000-liter totes on each downspout. Wow, it's a lot of liquid. It's a lot of H2O, brother. That can be a problem for, depending on what your yard is and everything around it.
Yeah, especially if you have, plant.
Yeah, if you have a lot of plants and stuff, that'll drown it out, ruin the crop for sure. But yeah, it was fairly bad damage on her property, but she's got a lot of other crops too, so she'll bounce back. Here, JJ says, here by us we have winter rain. It's cold and wet. Yeah, I know that type of climate. Lived in it my whole life. I lived in the Northwest, Western Washington, which is essentially like a rainforest, and that's all it does is rain. In fact, before I come here, I was working in Aberdeen, and the streets were so flooded I couldn't even really drive my car. And, that's their fault because they built below sea level, and so every year it floods there, which is ridiculous. That was in Aberdeen, Washington. So, yeah.
Yeah, but here, if raining here, you like it
I do. I get excited and I'll run out and I've made a couple videos like, oh, my favorite time in the Philippines is when it rains because it gets so much cooler. I mean, you can feel it. Like I'll be scrolling through my YouTube or uploading a video or something, and I'll feel the temperature change because we don't have air conditioning.
We just use ceiling fan, electric fan.
We just use a fan, right? So, but even with the fan on, I can feel a drop in the temperature, so I know it's going to rain in 10 or 15 minutes. So I go, and you can smell it in the air. There's this definite smell to it, and I'll smell it, and I'll get like a smile, and I'll be like, yes, it's going to rain. And then when it hits, I'll like run outside with my cell phone and the gimbal, and I'll make a video and be like, yeah, this is so awesome. But yeah, I love the rain when it rains here. So Ken and Lynn say we have a fish pond for the fish fertilizer, family planting, and we have Rhode Island chickens. 200? Need that rainwater. You have 200 chickens? My goodness, that's a lot of chickens.
You have a business chicken.
Yeah, that's a lot of chickens. Yeah, so you definitely need all that water. So, fantastic. Worked out well to get all that water, evidently. JJ loves the rain. Rain cleans everything and gives you new life. That's right. Well, when we were talking on the internet before, and the pandemic was going on, all this junk, we would do the FaceTime when I'd get off work, and it would start to pour down rain, and it would just kill the signal. Like, rain on her cell phones would make her voice sound like a robot or something. Like,
or he said like a ghost.
Yeah, like a ghost. It would create this echo, like, it was really bizarre. So we did a talking, and it was in the rainy season, so it really inhibited our ability to talk, and it was kind of stressful for me because I was so exhausted. I was working like, 12, 14, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, and then come home and then be straining to figure out what the heck she's saying with this robot voice, But we made it through it, and but I would say, I'm so tired of this rain. And what would you say all the time? Do you remember?
No.
Oh, it's a blessing. And I'd be like, well, it's not a blessing for my ears and my scrambled brain because I'm tired and it's difficult. So, but yes, rain is a blessing. It's from rain, life springs forth, and it really helps a lot of people. And a lot of people drink the rainwater too. So it's a resource. So it's a gift.
Especially if like not always rain for the farmer. Rain is good for them. Especially if they don't have water for the plant.
Exactly. Yeah, rain really helps the farmer, for sure. Ken and Lynn said, Canuck Summers Pinoy Winter says, they had native chickens, but they kept assassinating the weaker ones. No more fighting chickens for this cat. Yeah, that can definitely be a chaotic kind of situation. Man, that's kind of related, but not really, kind of off topic in regards to that. My neighbor was like, hey, and he was showing me, he has fighting cocks. And they were just playing around, just messing around. And his son and him had a chicken, and they go like this, and they put them in their face and pull them away and put them, and then they toss them, and they do their little battle. And it was just training. They weren't like really going at it, but he was showing me, how they fight. Well, I pulled out my phone and I filmed it, and I uploaded a short to YouTube, and I got a strike against my account saying if I get one more strike, they'll remove my channel. So don't ever post cockfighting on YouTube, which is ridiculous because before I uploaded it, I thought, let me just make sure that this is okay for YouTube. And I, did a search and came up with like 1,000 results of people doing cockfighting. What do they call it in your language again?
I don't know. Maybe chicken fighting?
No. There's a word. There's a word for it in your language.
Sabong?
Sabong. there are tons of videos for sabong. It's cockfighting. So I thought, oh, I'm safe. And I'm talking, these channels are popular. Like 200 subscribers, massive amounts of views. So I thought, this will be rad. I'm going to get, a lot of views, from Filipinos and stuff, and maybe get some subscribers. I had it up for like 15 minutes and they pulled it and gave me a strike. And if I get one more, there's no even discussion about it. They'll just kill my channel. So don't ever post any chickens fighting on YouTube, because it can really gum up the works. Let me tell you.
Maybe they have a license for it.
I don't know, but it was ridiculous. So yeah, that can be chaotic, having your native chickens kill each other off. But I don't know. What's the difference between native chickens and other chickens? I know that the natives have less meat or something.
Yeah, but the native is the best chicken because it's mostly they just eat like, especially in the province, they just eat like natural food, so they are more
lean and less meat on them, huh?
yeah, and it's good for tinolang manok.
Yeah.
The stuff.
Nice. Well, I don't know much about that, but obviously Ken and Lynn know a lot about the chickens if they've got that kind of a brood of them going, whatever you call it. Let's see here. Martin said, I ate balut too after a bottle of Tanduai. I know you both don't drink, but I needed it. You needed some liquid courage.
Yeah, they say here, like, just drink 1 cup of tandoor. Drink so that you have more blood, but I don't really know if that's true or not.
Yeah, there's a lot of beliefs behind that. That's for sure. Well, at least you scratched it off the list, and yeah, it did just taste like a boiled egg to me, also with a crunch, and it was warm, so it was different. But I wouldn't do it again. Well, maybe I would, but I'm not gonna go, oh, I need a balut. I'm craving a balut. It wasn't something like that. But at least I did it, and at least you did it. We were brave. So JJ said 1.2K channel is growing. Yeah, I'm not sure, where a lot of that, or why people subscribe to what they subscribe to, but yeah, we're up to like 1127 or something like that. So it's great, the watch hours still need to be there. So if you guys are like wanting to help out, just click a video when you're not on your cell phone or something like that and let it play. That's what I do for a lot of my friends. And some of them have channels that I'm, not too terribly, nobody really wants to watch like a 35, 40-minute video, and I post them, but I'll pick like their longest video that I haven't watched and just let it play, and then I'll walk out the door or something just so they can get the watch hours. But so JJ says, we'd love to see you guys start your farm. Ben, you can teach us how to plant the different vegetables and fruits. Yeah, I don't have much experience with the fruits, but everything's relatively easy. Well, I don't mean to sound like that, but once you know a little bit about horticulture, then you can apply your techniques, and some things require different fertilizers and different needs. And of course, that's a fantastic thing about the internet, is you can find all the information that you need right there at your disposal. So yeah, but unfortunately that's not going to be down the road. Until then, you're going to have to watch us bumble around with our crappy cell phone and our terrible sound and our mishmash of collection of different subjects and things until we figure out what direction we're going in. But down the road, you'll get to see that for sure if you stick with us. So Ken and Lynn Canucks Summers Pinoy Winter said, once a week we have live chickens we have live chickens to our construction crew, drooling as they leave. Wives were happy, The native chicken breed faster than Rhode Island, but the murder rate was too high. Yeah, they sound extremely aggressive. You know, the survival of the fittest kind of mentality. So, um, yeah, better to try to raise. I mean, so I don't really know. Is there a type of chicken that you can raise here that don't behave that way? I don't know.
Well, I guess it's different type of chicken because the like here the Filipino chicken is they are more have faster growing, but they are small, and there's type that big, but they just produce little eggs, so they don't really more productive.
I want the big fat chickens.
The one for sabu.
No, the ones for eating. But you have to kill them. I'm not killing them. So let's see here. Then Ken and Lynn Canuck Summers Pinoy Winter says it was so much fun teaching our crew on new building products. We didn't use hollow block. AAC is more eco-friendly and cheaper overall. It was so much fun. Yeah, that process would be an experience. And I'm not sure if we're going to ever go down that road of actually building from the ground up. But if I do, I'm going to be picking your brain, I think, because there's a lot of, it's very involved. So, and like I said, guys, check out his channel because he's got all kinds of great information on there that goes through all of these things that he does. And as he moves forward, I'm sure he's going to post even more content about it. So Rhode Island are the fat chickens. Okay, so you said that earlier, Rhode Island. Fat chickens sought after in the wet market. Yeah, those are the kind that I want to raise, is the Rhode Island chickens.
I don't know what is the type of chicken.
Well, he says the Rhode Island ones. That's what we get when we're ready to get them.
Yeah.
Then we can eat like pigs.
Oh yeah, but you will cry because you don't want to kill.
Well, if I'm not raising them, I won't be attached to them. So that's the technique. You raise them, and I won't have to become like in love with them or something. So, JJ just commented over to Ken and Lynn Canuck Summers, says ACC work out cheaper and build so much faster. True, Ben. Well, that was a comment made by Ken and Lynn. They built a house using those methods. Wow. So Ken said, due to weak translation language issues, we used YouTube videos for training. So fantastic. So you use YouTube videos to help the learning process to work around the language differences. Very smart. I mean, that's what I do when I don't know how to, change a light bulb in my car. If it's behind, the battery and the alternator and all this crap. So I go on YouTube and I look it up. So YouTube is a phenomenal resource for exactly those things. So that's fantastic that you use your ingenuity and did it that way. Very, very cool.
That's right, because mostly the information is in YouTube. You just need to search.
A lot of information on YouTube. Anything you want to know on YouTube. That's what's awesome about it. So I'm going to take a pee break. So you talk to your fans while I go pee, and I'll be back real quick.
Oh no.
Talk.
I don't know what to say, guys, but oh well.
Entertain!
Hey, I'm not an entertainer here. Come here, Goldie. Do you want to talk to you?
Doc!
Faster there.
Just say stuff. Say, yeah, today we did this, today we did that.
Yeah, but today we don't do anything. We just home. But tomorrow we have interview for other couple. So hopefully you also watch their interview. Actually, I don't have single lady friend because honestly I don't really like going out, so I just home before, and so I just in the province and in the farm. I don't really have a lot of friend. I'm single. I'm sorry. But it's a lot of single woman though in the Christianity, things that you just need to look and see, and you can notice if they are serious and true to themselves. Well, I don't. No one is perfect. I'm not. Sometimes we argue. Sometimes I have temper, but he also helping me to correct. So I just also need to learn. But well, maybe I ask him if I'm a good woman for him.
Coming.
Yeah, Gigi asked if I'm a good woman for you.
They asked if I'm a good woman for you?
Well, he asked me, but you're the one can able to answer because I don't want to say I'm a good woman because you know I make mistake.
Well, not a lot of mistakes that I've experienced in my past, that's for sure.
That's right, Pastor, because they have question.
Questions? Hold on, I'm just replenishing my fluids. I'm coming. Okay, so what's the question? Ouch.
Well, I cannot able to answer this thing that you must.
Let's see what. JJ said the one thing we must teach the builders is to put plastic covers over ground and foundations before pouring cement. Okay. I don't know much about building, so that's a good technique for sure. Okay, I heard you answer about the lady friends, and Ben has a good wife, and you, Leelee, don't change. So where's the question about it?
Well, the question about is I will question you if I'm a good wife for you.
Oh, well, yeah, she's fantastic. You know, I was married before and it ended horribly and it ruined my life for quite a while. and she and I met during some tumultuous kind of fallout from that. I'd already been divorced, but the woman was coming after me for all kinds of things, for legal reasons and money and whatnot. And she was very supportive of it. We met through a Christian kind of medium, and she was a huge support to me and helped me through a lot of that stress and trauma. And then, you know, when you're dealing like a LDR, long distance relationship, it's difficult to know if the person on the other end is true to what they're saying. And so I was already experienced, and I already had, you know, red flags and things that I was looking for, and I didn't see any of them. And then when I came here and got to know her, all of her actions were 100% match to her words and who she relayed to me who she was. So yeah, fantastic person that I feel was put in my path for a reason, and everything that has happened since then has just been in perfect alignment. So she's phenomenal. And he said, "Don't change."
Yeah.
Well,
God's help. I just want to to be humble myself.
humble yourself. Yeah, she's a good person, for sure. So Ken and Lynn says when we drive past the cockfight arena on Sunday, school's in for Sabog. So yeah, and that's the thing. When I moved here first, like 11 years ago, I rented an apartment sight unseen. It was, there wasn't a lot of internet resources for that back then. Maybe there were, but I didn't find them, and so I just rented an apartment. And it turned out that right behind it there was a cockfighting arena, and so they also raised the cocks there too. A lot of people, so there were like hundreds, if not 1,000, roosters, and they're and I'd never experienced anything like that. So it took me like a month to adapt to it, all the noises and things. But once I adapted to it, it was no problem, and it hasn't been a problem for me since. And in fact, after I moved away and went to the States with that woman that I referred to earlier, that was something that I really missed, was hearing roosters. It's kind of like, it takes you back to, your human roots to be around those kind of things. It reminded me of like, what my great-grandparents would experience or something like that. So I love it. I love being around the chicken noises and everything. It's fantastic. So Dot asks, what advice would you give men to avoid their Filipina having tampo? Or how should men act when their Filipina is doing tampo? Well, that is a can of worms you just opened right there. I think that we've been fortunate because we do have kind of a religious approach to it, and we both know that we have to be patient with each other, and we have to try to have understanding. And she hasn't exhibited a lot of that behavior. We've had a couple little things where it was kind of like that, and we just overcame it. Now I know on the internet there's kind of two different sects of opinion, not sex, but sects, sects. Some say, be the alpha and don't tolerate it, and others, have their techniques to weave and navigate through those things. But I think the key is to try to open up dialogue. And if the woman is adaptable, then she hopefully will evolve and learn. A lot of things, like in my previous relationship, the woman could not integrate. Like, she wanted the benefits of the states, and she wanted to learn, how to navigate through, how to live and be successful in the states. But when it came to the intricacies of an actual relationship, she couldn't shed the Filipino culture side, and she would say that I needed to adapt to it. So she had a wall up. But of course, the challenge is finding somebody who is willing to deal with the cultural differences and compromise. So if you can't find a woman that's willing to compromise on those archaic, because it's really archaic, the silent treatment is not healthy. It's not productive. And what I would do is I got used to it, so I would just go, okay, fine. I got a break from it. If she's going to be Tampo, I'll let her. But the problem was, she became more resistant. So she would extend her Tampo for even longer. So my approach to it didn't ever work. But the key is to find somebody who is willing to adapt to the cultural differences, going into the relationship knowing that, of course, the Western man is not going to have the same upbringing and the same exposure to that type of culture, and they have to be willing to adapt to each other's differences. And that's the key and challenge, and that's hard to find. Martin says, I'm going to say goodbye, and ma'ayong gabi. Nice stream, and take care. Thanks, Martin. Thanks for participating.
Salamat.
Salamat! And
God bless.
God bless!
But about the tampo stuff, if your woman is tampo, maybe you need to also tell her that tampo is not healthy for relationship. So need to be talk if she have something like, that's why she tampo. Maybe she need time for you or something that need to talk.
Right. Good input.
Yeah, because in his past relationship, like, his ex like that. So when I kind of tampo, he will tell me that it's not healthy and he already experienced that. So instead I will tampo, I just okay. Okay.
Well,
Don't tampo anymore.
we don't really have a lot of the same issues that a lot of people have. You have your set ways of what you want out of life, and so do I. And at least for me, you're a good match for what I want. I can't speak for you, but it seems like you're pretty adaptable.
I try.
Try. So JJ said communication is key, and that's right. I agree with that. You have to talk it out and work it out. But if you get with somebody who's really hard-headed, they adhere to what they've seen their whole lives, with their mother being tampo to their father or whatever, and they won't adapt. But then you just have kind of a person that's probably not a good match for you. So if you get involved with somebody who that becomes a prevalent theme in your relationship, then that's a red flag, especially if there's no willingness to learn ways to avoid that. And if they continue to fall into those kind of patterns, then they're probably not going to be a good match for the long term, because that can create a lot of issues in the future. So Ken and Lynn said, Lynn and I, especially with the stress of the house build, we go to a public place and stay on topic. No bringing up the other issues. That is power struggling. One subject, one talk. Which is a good technique, you know. As long as you're not, harboring any resentment for doing it, and you can move forward, then that's a fantastic way to go about it. Of course, it all depends on whether or not, you're going to be harboring resentment, or if you're still feeling like you need to express yourself in some aspect of the disagreement. So
Yeah.
every situation is different. It's really, really difficult to define it or give a pat answer, to that question, because it's very complex, and the dynamics between each individual relationship is going to vary dramatically. So JJ Kors said, thanks for advice, Leelee. Yeah, tempo is bad. Communication before getting angry.
Yeah, you're welcome. I just also learned from him because he correct me, so I also try my best to not be in tempo.
Yeah.
But there is no perfect relation. Sometimes we kind of have issue, but with God's help, we just talk about it and do our best to be better.
Yeah, try to learn from it, and patience is the key, And sometimes it is good to be silent before you put your foot in your mouth, Sometimes it's not always the best thing to speak. So in some ways, and I'm surprised I'm going to say this, but in some ways the tempo can avoid expounding the problem or making it bigger by saying the wrong things. So it kind of gives you a little bit of a downtime to kind of decompress. But all in all, it's not a healthy way to deal with the problems, though.
Yeah. Especially for for foreigner, that tempo, the thing is when the woman is tempo, it's the woman kind of do something, but the woman just sometimes just want space or don't want to talk negative, so that's why they just keep silent.
Right. So Ken and Lynn said his counselor taught him that after his divorce. She said that women multitask and men can't multitask emotions. Women win, so one subject and one talk works for us. So there you go, Dot. Try that technique. It comes directly from a counselor. But yeah, no, I mean, whatever works for. That's why I said earlier that each individual relationship has so many varying attributes. You like I always say, I watch certain people on YouTube, and they give advice, on how to do the Philippines and what will work guaranteed, and what worked for them. And then people who try to carbon copy that, again, it's like a choose your own adventure novel. They were real popular when I was a kid. Your brain is different, and you're going to choose, different things along the way, and in the end, you're going to have different results regardless. No matter how hard you try to emulate some other person, your results are never going to be exactly the same. So it's very difficult to ball that up into a universal answer, because it's not always going to work for everyone. But it mostly boils down to, if the person truly wants to be with you, then they're going to want to do all it takes to work around those problems, right?
That's right.
So JJ says, set a point. If something bothers you, wait till lunch and talk it out. Get it all sorted before going to bed. Yeah, that's that old adage, don't go to bed angry. Which hopefully can work, hopefully it can, in a lot of ways. My ex would actually always say that I don't want to go to bed angry, but then she would go to bed angry all the time. So.
He is the one who always doing it.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not to say I was a perfect person, but yeah, just those things, it just depends on the people and the individuals that are involved in all of that. So, Ken and Lynn said, "Spot on, JJ." That's right. See, JJ, you're getting some confirmation about your approach. So just keep a good head on your shoulders, and you'll do well.
That's right.
That's right. So Dan just popped in and said Tampo is cultural on the woman's side. Some say it's a controlling mechanism used by woman. Now, again, it can be, and some women do use it as a weapon. There's really, like I said before, I don't really want to say there are positives towards Tampo, but one of the things is if you take that moment to take a deep breath and not linger in the anger, so that your words compound the issue, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But if you extend it to a certain point, then it becomes extremely unhealthy. And if the person is manipulative, then of course they are going to use Tampo as a technique to for whatever end they have. It doesn't. Who knows what it could be. But you can try, what Ken and Lynn said, which is to pick one topic and stay on it, and men and women's differences, require a different kind of approach to get past that result. So, yeah. So Dot Connector says Filipinas seem super jealous. I like jealousy though. It seems like a whole new level. 90 Day Fiancé TV show has two jealous Filipinas currently, and the one needs to see her American 24/7, 365 days on video.
My goodness.
Okay, so in my opinion, and ironically enough, when I was going through my first relationship with the Filipina, she and I applied for the 90 Day Fiancé show. And we sent in pictures, and we did, answer questions, and we unfortunately didn't make the cut. But, I can tell you that in general, that level of jealousy and that how you described, the 24/7, 365 is a form of control. And it's not necessarily a good sign. And
it's not healthy.
A lot of times when people are projecting that outwardly, it's because they can't see in the levels where they can realize that the reason why they're doing that is because they feel that they would probably do that themselves, and they expect the other person to also be that way. So when you're that crazy about it, that's a huge red flag, and I would probably, it's hard to say I would walk away from that relationship, because at that point you're pretty invested in it, so it would be extremely difficult to walk away. But that is certainly a recipe, seemingly sounding a recipe for disaster. And one of them is from Cebu, huh? Yeah. Ken and Lynn said, we men can have our controlling issues. When guys hit the pH, they think the Filipino will bend to their will, often an unhappy relationship. Yeah, I mean, I've spoken about that, in my rambles on YouTube constantly, and um, what I learned, throughout my process was if you're not turning the lens upon yourself and seeing where you go wrong, then you're going to have a struggle. Um, I did a video about a Filipina that talked to me about some of these stigmas of beliefs about Filipina. All Filipinos are submissive, they're docile, they just want to cook and clean and have babies and those things. And this woman was offended by those kind of things because that doesn't encapsulate, a lot of Filipina. A lot of Filipina are not that way. As she was saying, a lot of Filipina, have varying interests, and they have some independence in them. So there's no cookie cutter kind of thing. And guys who come over here and they just want those things, there's a problem with them, I think. So that's where I say those types of dudes need to turn the lens upon themselves so they can see what is it about them that is going to create strife and trauma in their relationships. But when dudes come over here and that's all they want, they're gonna have issues, because most Filipina, up to a certain point can meet some of those requirements, but ultimately they're not going to be slaves. And as you know, being married to a Filipina, that your Filipina has a backbone and she has will and she has opinions, which a lot of guys just think that doesn't exist. So all of these ridiculous opinions don't really translate over to the majority of women that are here. They just don't. So if a guy comes over here and that's all he wants, well, then they're gonna be sorely mistaken and they're gonna have a rough time. Definitely. So Dan says, it seems to me that it's an extended pouting session. Yes, I agree that you have to try to develop a coping behavior to communicate beyond it. Yeah, 100%. I mean, and if you can't find that way, then you guys are going to just be both butting heads, and it just all depends. If the person is vested in it for the right reasons and they're willing to adapt to each and everything that creates strife and problems in the relationship. But if they're unwilling to bend on things, then they're more than likely the relationship is going to have extremely huge issues, and it's going to struggle and maybe fail unless at that point somebody's going to have to bend in the direction too far that they don't necessarily want to, and it's going to be unfulfilling for one or the other. So that's a difficult thing. And to say that all these things are primarily Filipino traits is not necessarily true. I mean, all men and all women have their varying issues in all cultures. So when we talk about Filipinas always being overly jealous or overly tampo or these things, some are, but some American women are that way too. And it's not universal from everyone. So saying that it is according to that woman that I referred to earlier, she was calling it racist or stereotypes. Sorry, let me let you back in here, Chicky Poo.
See, he called me Chicky Poo. Remember?
Chicky Poo. Is Leelee's tummy showing yet?
What do you think?
I'm letting you answer the question.
Well, little bit growing, but it's not really. You cannot really notice about I'm pregnant, but That's why some neighbor here asking me if why my tummy is not big. Oh, I say I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe because it's small also, so that's why.
Yeah, but if you were small, then it would show faster. I notice it a little bit. Let me say that. I notice a little bit, but she's been eating a lot, so maybe she's just getting a little bit of a belly, but no. It's showing a little bit, but not a significant amount. She's 3 months and like almost 2 weeks pregnant, and so not super far along. But yeah, that's probably where it's at. I think it is a little bit, but not real significant. So Ken and Lynn says there's lots of online dating sites in the PH. They run a script based on the country they're talking to. There's one in our wee community where we live. Be cautious. P.S. This isn't only in the PH. Yeah, I mean, I have a video about common dating site scams. Where in fact I touch a little bit upon that. I didn't mention the script writing, but I mentioned some of the common scams, and yeah, you have to navigate those waters very carefully. We just recently got sponsored by a dating service for our YouTube, and I haven't yet finalized the final. I have to make a rough cut video and send it in for them, but they're a pretty reputable dating service where they verify the women that each guy is talking to. It is a pay site though, and a lot of people don't want to pay, but the services that they offer are a lot better than a lot of existing service dating sites. I'm not supposed to refer to this one as a dating site. I'm supposed to refer to it as a dating service, and they offer some pretty good services that actually do go to great lengths to verify that the woman is at least who she says she is, and they'll even go and sit with the woman. But it's a good alternative. It's a good option. So we have someone that came on board. Adeline Williams says hello. Well, hello, Adeline. Good to see you.
Kumusta?
Kumusta? Ken says Lynn's sis didn't show for a long time. I always laugh when Lynn says, "Babe pops out babies. Stopped at 2." Yeah, I mean, some people don't, and they say that the second pregnancy, just from me reading, because I'm a reader, the second pregnancy tends to show sooner than the first, and this being her first, then I guess it takes time. But there's a lot of signs that she's, advancing along in her pregnancy. So, so that's funny, Ken. I got a kick out of that one. So JJ says they also have a nice place where you book to fly in and meet a woman. It's a dating service, but it's 4K plus. The way I think is you'd rather spend that money there traveling. Yeah, I mean, this service is a little bit less than that. It's like significantly less than that, I would say. But all these other features that they have can cost you a little bit. But it has like a monthly fee, and then you can get a discount if you pay it all up front for a year. But interestingly enough, one of the couples that we just interviewed, the video will probably go up tomorrow, met through that service, and they're very successful with the results and the outcome, and they're married now, and they've been married for over a year and getting along phenomenally. So the results are proven from this this dating service that it does work. So but it's going to cost you anything. But to me it's kind of cool. Like I don't know if I would ever pay that necessarily. Like if I was going to do this again, which I never will, but yeah, there's other ways to go about it. But for sure, there are safe and secure ways, especially for guys that aren't very internet savvy, and they can just get duped by some younger girl saying, "Oh, you're so handsome," and next thing you know, they're seeing stars in their eyes and stuff like that. Having a little bit more moderation, from the website will moderate things and verify the women through national ID that they submit, and so it makes it a lot more secure. JJ says they have this for Asia, all over the world, and Latin America, all over. Very expensive. You're not guaranteed to find your match. Yeah, that's pretty expensive, 4K. But this service that I'm referring to is significantly less, and they still will go through all this verification process to help the guys have the tools at least to find somebody who is more reliable. So, Ken and Lynn said meet and greet if it's the same company. The Cebu owner, retired now, was across the street from her work. Meet and greet. Oh, that's the scam one that you were referring to that has the scripts? So, okay, thanks for putting that out there, everybody. If you see a service called Meet and Greet, avoid it like the plague, because you have first-hand knowledge coming from Ken and Lynn Canuck Summers Pinoy Winters that it is a scam. So avoid that one like the plague. Thanks for the heads up. It's Cebu, yes. Yeah. Cebu. No, don't turn it on. I turned the Wi-Fi off because they were complaining about the connection. If you don't want to be here anymore, you can bow out.
Good.
Your back's starting to hurt. Well, I'm just glad that you joined. I'm glad that you joined up and answered some questions, and even though you're shy, you conquered your fear and got some more experience, so that's good.
Yeah, because we are here to help me.
I'm here to help. That's what I'm here for. So are you gonna take off? You're done?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, well, tell everybody goodbye.
Okay, guys, thank you for the comment. So I just want to rest, but my husband is still here talking to you. To thank you for the question and for your support, and God bless everyone.
All right.
Good day and good night.
Thank you for contributing. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. So let's see. She's gonna take off now. Her being pregnant, she's getting kind of tired. It's late. She's usually not such a late person. But I was telling Ken and Lynn, I'm a night owl, so I've kind of this is way past her original bedtime. When I knew her before, she would be asleep by 8 p.m. and sometimes sooner, because in her province, when the sun would go down, they would already be getting sleepy and fall asleep at 7. So, hey, Dot said bye-bye, Leelee, you did well.
Okay, bye-bye.
And JJ said nighty-night, Leelee, sweet dreams.
Thank you.
Thank you, she said. You. So, let me scroll back up here. Ken and Lynn said we bought a car this year, and I have never driven in the Philippines in a car, just only on a motorbike. It seems like I talk about that a lot, but of course, a lot of my well-known subscribers know that I prefer motorbike, even though it's the most dangerous thing for foreigners in the Philippines. But that's my preference. Car seems like I would get in wrecks all the time, but. And JJ said, I think it's better to go on sites when you're in the country than you can actually meet. Yeah, I mean, there's different techniques to go about it. I'm not really fond of all that stuff. I think, some of these sites are geared towards people who have less wits about them and can be a fantastic tool for those people. But you can do very well if you're got your slippers on the ground here, you know. So Ken says, back to the car, it took a long time to be comfortable driving the Philippines. Yeah, in fact, I imagine that can be 100% true. I can see that, plain as day. The couple that I interviewed today, they were talking about, or yesterday, they were talking about driving in the Philippines and how it's been a difficult adjustment because the contrast of Western kind of rules don't exist here, and it takes, a lot, head on a swivel is what they say, to make sure that, you avoid all the different kind of scenarios that occur here. So, yeah, I would get in the kind of the mode of driving Western style, and I wouldn't expect, a guy 3 lanes away to be turning right, which my taxi drivers do that all the time, and I'm like, okay, take a right turn here, and he's all the way over in the 3rd lane. The next thing you know, I'm like, dude, you gotta go right. No, I know. And he'll just cut in front of everybody and take that right turn. So if I was the person in that far lane, I would never expect someone from the 3rd lane all the way over to come and cut in front of me. That wouldn't be something that I would anticipate. So my reaction time would probably be way off. So Dan says, maybe it's just best to move to the Philippines, find an apartment, and just live there normally, then take your time naturally. Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of people want to prepare, have something prepped for them, but the reality is there's many options here, and sometimes it's not good to get locked into one. So I pretty much agree with that assertion, Dan, for sure. And you've probably, hopefully, heard my opinion on that matter. As to where to search, where to look for someone who isn't just out to, in it for the dough. Somebody who has their ducks in a row, kind of. The girl that works, of an observable shift somewhere, and you think she's cute. Or, a girl that you see at a church if you happen to go to church, and she's a frequent kind of attendee, So many different ways asking your neighbor, do you have any ideas on a good person, because I'm single and I'm looking to meet somebody. A lot of different methods to do it, 100%. JJ says, that's what I'm going to do. You guys are along the right lines. That's what I've been saying to do. And so does Dot. I mean, why not? I mean, you hear all these other stories, and it's just easier to avoid all those pitfalls. 100%. Ken and Lynn says, met way too many foreigners that bounced off the concrete roads. I'm comfortable. Lynn wasn't. Yeah. It is the most dangerous mode of transportation to go on a motorbike, that's for sure. Let's see here. JJ says, I'm a good-looking young man. Raver, go old school. Oh, you're a handsome dude, that's for sure. uh, um, Ken and Lynn say we also bought a 4-cam dash cam system. It's organized chaos. Yeah, 100%. I mean, when you got you come to a stoplight and you're sandwiched in between 30 motorbikes that are just going to try to, arrowhead right in front of you and take off, that, would be difficult to adapt to for sure. But of course, I'm one of those guys that would be on the side of you. Sorry. Yeah, you got your feet on the ground and your eyes on the scene. That's 100% the way to go. Yeah, and that's a good, if you have the video of it, then you avoid all of those accident scams. So a lot of people are implementing that implementing that technique to avoid, compounding the issue. It's already bad enough to get in an accident, but then to have it blamed on you when it's not your fault, can make it even more expensive. And having that tool in your car to prove, who was at fault and who wasn't, is a phenomenal thing to do. And Ken and Lynn say, I'm not here to judge. Oh, but Ken and Lynn, they have a lot of experience coming here, so he's a good guy to listen to. I get everybody's questions. Yeah. Do I have a license in the Phillies? No, I don't. But I'm not riding right now. I was just renting scooters. I think you follow Q on YouTube. He rents scooters, and there's a couple other people that I've rented off of. So I just when you've seen us riding, those have been rented, and you get up to like 3 months when you're first here, and now I've been here over that time, so I haven't went and got my Filipino license, but it's like the guy that I interviewed today was saying, there's really no rush into any of these things. And if you think, like in the States or in the West or wherever, you can make a list. Okay, today I'm going to go to the DMV and I'm going to get, tags for my plates. And then I'm going to go to the grocery store. And then after that, I'm going to go ABC. Well, here, a lot of times that doesn't really work out. You end up going to get your DMV task, and that's all you can fit into the day. So, everything's on the list, and eventually I'll get to those things, but I don't really need it right now. Yeah, 6 months. Okay, yeah, 6 months. So Ken and Lynn says we only live in the Philippines for 6 months, and his Canadian license. So yeah, he never really has to re-up it. I'm past that 6 month threshold though, so I haven't had a need for it anyways. And in the rainy season, I'm not really driving a scooter anyways. So yeah. So yeah, he's got that perfect recipe there where he's only here 6 months. So he doesn't even need it, moving forward. So he can just keep coming back and essentially just not going through that hassle. But I've gotten the license here a couple of times, when I stayed at varying points in my life. And it's not hard. It's not hard to get. It's pretty simple. And the first time I got it, all I had to do was just pay a fee. I didn't have to do anything else. And they took my picture and I had it. Now it's gotten a little bit more tough, a little bit more stringent, but it's not difficult to get. That's right. It's part of living in the Philippines, and as long as you're adaptable and and you're not in a rush for these things, and why should you be? You know, um, exactly. You have to be dedicated to that one single task, and have it be the event of the day. Now, most of the things that I have done, like when we were gearing up to get married, we had to get several different documents, which in the end turned out they didn't even ask for any of these documents, so it's kind of silly. But, like, for example, we had to make an appointment with the Philippine Statistics Authority to get centimores, and that ended up not taking the full day. So technically we could have done other things, but you never know in some situations. So you don't really have to rush around and do a bunch of stuff. We're most guys that come here, they're here for retirement or vacation. So or like Ken, he's here for a long respite, a long vacation. So what's the rush? You're here to enjoy stuff. So, Ken says, for those interested, we send Balak Bayan boxes every year for the Western stuff. Lots of things cheaper in the West than the Philippines. Mixed nuts was almost 50 in the Philippines, but 19 in cans. So if you guys don't know what Balak Bayan boxes are, they're essentially they have a single price on measured box. It's one size, and you can fit whatever you want into it. And I've known guys that put like car engines into it in pieces and sent it over, and it's varying price. The Balak Bayan boxes get shipped by freight. They take varying times depending on what company. I've sent them before, and they can take 6 weeks. They can take 3 months, whatever it is, depending on how busy or whatever. But that's a good method to use. You can send your stuff over yourself through those boxes, especially if you're planning ahead. You can pack those in and send them on a ship, and then everything will be there waiting for you when you get here. So it's a good method, and it's not very expensive. And so Dan says, but to be honest, when you retire in the Philippines, that can be the catalyst to help you slow enough to cool your jets. Yeah, hopefully. And I unfortunately meet them all the time. These guys that are rooted in the Western ways, and all of these things drive them nuts. I've said it a few times now. There's a guy in my neighborhood. He's from Ohio or something like that. Can't remember, somewhere over there. And I try to avoid him, at all costs, because he'll say hi and then he'll just run into, start rambling off about all the crap that he's had to deal with since the last time I saw him. And it's all like negative, and it's all about the Philippines and how he tried to do this and that, and it was just a nightmare and blah blah blah. And he's not the only one. I mean, a lot of people, especially people who have been here a while, they really, really have a difficult time adapting to it and adjusting to the slower pace of things, and they complain about the infrastructure and all these things that are far above them, and they just can't adapt to it. So that's why I make these videos, and I made that video that actually hit for me. I got like 5,000 views as to why you should not come to the Philippines, and that is one of the primary reasons. If you can't adapt to all these different things, then you're going to struggle here, and you might as well just stay home, because you make it worse for the other people that are here. You give us a bad look, and you would just be happier somewhere else. Like, I had a guy ask me just 2 or 3 days ago. I do a lot of email. I put my email up so people email me all the time. And this guy wrote me 2 paragraphs asking me, how is it that I adapt to all these negatives? And it's simple. And I laid it out in videos before. It's simple to adapt to these things, especially nowadays. When I was in the States before, I spent a lot of time in my car driving around, and all it is drug addicts, homeless people, tent cities, needles on the ground, people begging for money, politics that drive me insane. You can't avoid them when your coworker is talking to you about, Biden this or Trump that, and all these things that are far beyond your control. To me, the Philippines has none of that. Sure, if I'm a Filipino, then there's probably politics that could drive me crazy if I was involved in Filipino politics. But I'm not. So being here, I'm far removed from all of those things, all of them. And to me, it's just a huge weight off my shoulders. And I know I'm being repetitive because I say this all the time in my videos, but you cannot grasp it until you're here. If you don't hold on to those things and you let them go, your life is going to change for the positive in so many phenomenal ways. So to me, is it hard to adapt to these things? The heat and the traffic and the wet roads and things, and the mud puddles that you have to walk through to get to the streets. And no, it's not hard for me to adapt at all, because when I was over in the States and having already experienced the Philippines, all I wanted to do was come back to the Philippines, because a lot of those existing issues don't exist here. So to me, the Philippines, like I made that video, is a good trade. The Philippines is a good trade for all that crap. And if you are a go with the flow kind of person, the Philippines, you won't even notice those things as anything. You'll just love it here, which is where I'm at. I just love it here. Let's see. And while I was on a tirade there, Ken and Lynn confirms the Bollock Buying boxes. He packed it full of tools, which would have been so expensive to bring here, and he just packed his Bollock Buying boxes full of tools for, I don't know what you paid, probably $129 now or something like that for a 4X or whatever you use. Well, you're in Canada, so it's different, but we used 4X, I think it was before. But he, sent over all his tools, for affordable price, and had him waiting here to do all of his construction, which saved him a significant amount of money. And see, Ken and Lynn are always saying too, let it go, let the politics go, etc., into the garbage. All of these things, let it go. What does any of that stuff do for your life, anyways? I've known so many people that have spent their entire lives, and I saw it since I was a kid. Who was it? Mondale and Ferraro were running against President Reagan or something like that. And I was like, I don't know, 7 or 8. And all those candidates were saying the same things that they're saying nowadays. And nothing has changed, But you got all these people that invest their entire lives into these politics, and they can't let it go. They can't. They're so focused in on one side or the other that it just boggles my mind how you can waste your entire life and then go to the grave having done nothing, but you were a good Republican, or you were a good Democrat, or you were a good independent. None of that is fulfilling. None of it. Go live your life and get far removed from all that garbage. So JJ thanked Ken and Lynn for that idea. And JJ said, stay away from negative people, 100%. And they do. That's all they do is bring you down. And again, Ken is being a proponent of the Bollock Buying boxes because it is a phenomenal method. You do, like he says, already own all of the contents, and it costs him $100 to ship a box. So look into that. It's a great thing to do. JJ says if he decides to live in the Philippines, he'd want to bring his tools, but he must travel all over to make the final decisions. Yeah, consider it, JJ, because it is an affordable way to bring over the expensive stuff so you don't have to repurchase it. And Ken's theme is this old carcass. He puts a lot of that title on his videos. But, you know, it's true. It's 100% true. LBC is in Canada. Makes it very convenient. Yeah, I think we have LBC in the States too. Now you guys are talking tools, which I don't know anything about tools, unfortunately. I never had to really use them in any of the fields that I was in. Even when I was manager of a horticulture operation, we, you know, we built some grow rooms and things like that, but we were only using drills and whatnot. So I'm not very experienced with all that jazz. Yeah, I've seen a lot of discussions about the different voltage that you need here in the Philippines, and different ways to get extension cords that, you know, they'll actually work with your power tools and things, you know, and keep them running and not trip the breakers and stuff. So. So yeah, you guys definitely check out each other's channels. Ken and Lynn, check those guys out. Very informative guy, like I said before. I'll give him another plug because, you know, he's very articulate, very knowledgeable. He's doing a lot of things that a lot of guys you are going to be doing, you know, in their futures. So. You know, a wealth of knowledge right there, and he answers comments too. So, and guys like us, we like to jab. So you drop comments on there, I'm sure he's also the type of guy that would want to engage you on those things. Channel link. All you got to do is click on his name or his picture, and that should take you to his channel. I don't know in this mode, but yeah, that's his name. Ken and Lynn Canuck Summers, Pinoy Winters. That's the name of his channel. Well, I don't know. Fire it up, Ken. Drop your channel link if you can, if it'll let you. Get some subscribers. That's the, you know, that's a wonderful thing about it, you know. There's a lot of YouTubers that don't want to help others, and then there's a lot of YouTubers that will. And I'm a small-time YouTuber, and I think that, you know, there's so much meat on the bone here for everybody. So, you know, got to support each other, support everybody, get it rolling. So Dan says, yes, there's an LBC 1-hour drive from my home, and plan to use it to send items that would be hard to find in the Philippines. Yeah, you know, it's a great way to go about it, especially if you're sure that you're going to be staying here long term. Then, excuse me, stretching my old back. But yeah, no. As long as you're sure that you're going to be staying here long term, then utilize that idea, because it can be really save you some cash, you know, in the future. Because, you know, if you want to go buy a drill or, you know, some kind of power tool here, and you already got a whole garage full of them there, they're going to be probably, you know, again, I'm not a tool guy, but I would imagine that some of the quality of them aren't going to be in line with the quality that you have there. Yeah, at least that's what I've heard from others. And so, you know, save yourself the struggle and just send yourself a bulk buy-in box. if you're going to be staying here for sure long term, because otherwise you're probably going to, if you leave if you're throwing in the towel and leaving, then you're going to be throwing in the towel and leaving all your tools too, probably giving them away. And good luck trying to sell your stuff for a good price here to other foreigners. It's hard even to find a medium to do that in, where people aren't just going to hassle you and make fun of you. Like I see guys doing it on Facebook. I'm leaving, I've got this for sale, that for sale, and they just criticize the whole time and nothing gets done, so it's not very productive. So make sure that you're going to stay a long time before you send yourself a bunch of heavy stuff. So that's my advice on it, and I'm sure Ken would agree. But the Bollock Buy-in Box is definitely a good way to go, for sure. So yeah, man. Well, we really rocked and rolled here. That was been a good time on the live. I think JJ, he might not be able to send it. YouTube has weird kind of rules about posting things. Like a lot of times, I'll drop a link in somebody's comment, and then I'll go back to see why I didn't get like a thumbs or anything from it. And YouTube has removed it. The algorithm won't allow self-promotion. So it could be that's why he's running into a snag being able to post it here. Let's see. Ken said, if any of you feel you might need to work in the PH, we do subletting, and my buddy does buy and sell bikes. Yeah, that's what Q used to do. I don't know if he's still doing it now that his channel's blown up, but Q used to just rent motorbikes. I mean, he's got a lot of irons in the fire, but one of the things that he did was he would rent motorbikes to foreigners. So it's a good business to get into, and for sure. Dan says, last time I was in the Davao area and went to a City Hardware, the cordless tools were almost 3 times the price here. See? Confirmed. And of course, bring or buy a voltage adapter for step up or step down capabilities. So yeah, see, so Dan knows the ropes on that, man. And I was right, and just because I've read it, guys complaining about it on forums and stuff, and how to navigate through it. And I mean, you can get here and you can find all the things you need, but you're probably going to have to, do your research and everything else. So just bring what Dan said, send your tools yourself, and yeah, and you'll save, a lot of headache and struggle. And there are a lot of forums that will actually give you advice. You'll get a lot of feedback from the stupid trolls or whatever, but there's enough good people out there that will provide you with, the answers to the questions you might have. So, sorry. Ken and Lynn says, I sent the link, but yeah, I might be blocked by the algorithm. Yeah, I don't think it's going to allow you to do that on another person's channel. I think that's just the self-promotion thing that YouTube doesn't allow. But JJ says, email me their link. I can't move out of the live stream right now and do that for you, but I can do that later for you. Sure. JJ. And then said, battery power tools won't work with step transformers, at least the ones we bought. Inrush current popped them. So yeah, good advice right here for anybody who's going to be building. Ken and Lynn. Bam Bam with a fire on there says, hi, can you say hi? Sure. Hi, how are you, Bam Bam? I'm great. Nice to see ya. When I was a kid, there was a cartoon character on a show called The Flintstones, and My older brother called me Bam Bam because I used to like to bang my head against my crib. So, nice name. So, mail tomorrow, no problem. Absolutely, I'll send it tonight after we end this. Bam Bam says, "Thank you. I'm okay. Glad you're okay." Yeah, I'm fantastic. We're just having a live chat here, talking about people that are on their way to the Philippines, considering their way to come to the Philippines, and it's been fun. Oh my, OMG! That's such a coincidence. Yeah, I know, right? Same Bam Bam I know from Angeles? Well, that would be a small world. You guys know each other? Are you from Angeles, Bam Bam? That would be crazy if you guys know each other, huh? Oh. That's okay, don't be sorry. We're still interested, so yeah, that would be crazy. So where are you from then, Bam Bam? Since we're talking about it. Europe! Well, that's definitely not from Angeles. That's far, far away from there, huh? Europe, huh? So, how's life in Europe? Are you considering coming to the Philippines? Hey! No problem, Ken. Thanks for chatting. And, really appreciate all your input and information. So we'll talk to you soon. Later on, man. So Bam Bam says, not sure. It sounds cool, though. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great things to experience in the Philippines. It's a pretty fantastic place to visit. So definitely come here and check it out. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something. Just see what you think of it. Never just go all in. Check it out first. Make sure you like it. Make sure you can get past some of the things that people complain about, like the heat and the driving and the traffic and stuff. And if you can deal with all that stuff, then might be for you. Thumb. Yeah. So, hey, Bam Bam. Thanks for stopping by. Take care. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Adios. Thanks for everything. Take care. So it looks like everybody's kind of abandoning the chat. Got one person left remaining, whoever you are. Thanks for sticking around. I just wanted to say, I just recently put up that buy me a coffee thing. Thanks to one of my subscribers, reminded me to do it and actually contributed, which is phenomenal. But I changed the title to buy me some rice. And so all the money that goes into that, I will use to buy rice for people in my neighborhood. So I won't use it for anything for me, but other than just buying the rice. So that'd be fantastic if you guys want to help out anybody. So Dan says, when I was there, I I found to heat a benefit. I felt 20 years younger and my blood pressure was much better level. I plan to travel there next year and hopefully it is good to travel. Yeah, I was just talking to somebody about that, and they actually said that same thing, that the heat was good for their blood pressure and some heart issue that they had. So yeah, man, that's also another benefit too. Um, Absolutely. So I mean, there's just so many benefits. Well, no. Actually, this guy was asking me if I had it because he wanted to buy me a microphone. Very generous, and um, so I had been thinking about doing it just because so many people do it, but I didn't really want to appear like a freeloader or a scammer or anything like that. But it's kind of a tool that people use, so I went ahead and threw it up there. But I don't advertise about it. Um, but I did a couple of videos where you see me, giving to families in my neighborhood, and I don't really talk much about it like some people. They say it in all their videos. They're giving away donations and things like that, and it's how they end their video, kind of, and say things of that nature. But I do something like that, not every day, but quite frequently. There's a lot of people. I mean, I can't. It's like that's why I have animals. I felt sorry for them and I took them under my wing because they were so pitiful, and I have the ability to help them. So that's not to equate people struggling to that same kind of thing. But if I see people, hey, see you later, JJ. Thanks for stopping by and contributing as always. I'll send you that link later on tonight after I sign off. But it's something that I always have done. Before I came here, I told Leelee that I was, in a blessed situation, that I could, help people with the things that I've been blessed with, and I think that I need to do that. So very, very frequently we do things to help others, and I won't go into detail because I'm not trying to pat myself on the back or anything else, but I think that would be a great way, for people to help out from afar. It only costs 255 pesos to buy 5 kilos of rice, and that's the good rice. You can get it for like 240 for a little bit lower quality, but the good rice is Gandor, and it's really good. It's about 255 for 5 kilos. So that's what I'm going to use that for. So you guys consider doing it, and all of that will go to it. I put on there 5% of each donation goes to the website for other things. I don't know. I can remove that, but when I first signed up, it said to do that, so I did. So 5% of your donation will go to that, I guess. I don't anticipate getting a lot of donations or anything, but I can remove that, and I probably will. So, night, JJ. Dan says, thank you, Ben. You're a very good communicator. This will serve you well. God bless. Hey, God bless you too, bro. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate the compliment, and you be well there. And I look forward to seeing you again. So, Rebecca Towns just popped in and says, hey. And I say, hey there, Rebecca. How you doing? What's up? Nice to see ya. I'm just on the late at night here, talking to most of my Western subscribers because they're over there, and it's daytime for them. It's nighttime here, but I like to come on and give people a chance to ask me questions or talk to me about things related to the Philippines mostly. So, what brings you here, Rebecca? How you doing? Where are you from? Silence. Silence is golden, right? In a lot of scenarios, but not so much when you're alive. But yeah, I think that's 3 hours exactly. 3 hours and 9 seconds. So unless a bunch of people pop on here real quick and have some questions to ask, I'm thinking about winding this down. So if you have any more input, feel free to fire it at me, and I'll be glad to answer. But otherwise, consider liking some of my videos, maybe clicking on one or two of them and giving it some watch time. That'll help me, advance to the monetization. I'm getting close, but I just need a few more watch hours, several hundred few more watch hours. So consider doing that. Dropping comments especially helps get the videos pushed. I can have like a video that has a lot of good information in it, and I've noticed this, like in the end it gets like 5,000 views, but for the first few days it didn't hit at all until people started commenting on it. So the more comments you get, the more YouTube pushes that video. So please, consider dropping a comment on the videos and subscribing to my channel, you guys. And I appreciate all of the support. This has been a phenomenal journey for me, doing this YouTube and meeting a lot of these great people. In fact, I'm going to be meeting a subscriber. He came to Cebu, and he just landed, and he emailed me, and we're going to have dinner with him this coming Monday, I believe. So if you get to the Philippines and you want to meet this guy, I'm more than happy to meet with you and discuss anything. Just hang out, talk about whatever you want to talk about. Maybe we can, exchange, knowledge in whatever ways, and get to, learn from each other. Because, the teacher is not always. I'm not saying I'm a teacher, but yeah. Dot says maybe you should make a few moderators that could post links while you are live, or could take care of troublemakers. If I get big enough to where I need something like that, like some of the bigger channels that go live and they remove all the hecklers and all the trolls and things, I'll definitely implement that. But for right now, it's not really happening. It gives me the option to block people, I think, on here, although I don't really know how to do it, so I'm sure there's a way I could figure it out. But yeah, moving forward, if I ever get to the point where I have like a really lively live stream, then absolutely I'll try to implement those ideas. But right now I don't really need it, I don't think. I mean, everybody's been very agreeable that came through here. So I don't know what happened to Rebecca. She came in and she said hi, and then she didn't say anything else. But yeah, man. So there's now 3 people on here. So say hi, you guys. Say something. Only 3 people, but better than 0, right? So yeah, I think I'm gonna mosey on out of here. What time is it in the Philippines, you guys? Oh, I have 8% on my battery. 9%. So it's 12:44 in the Philippines. I'm down to 9% on my battery. Gimbal's still running full speed here, but cell phone, and I could plug it in, but we're not really popping here. So I think I'm gonna call it a night, and I'm really thankful for everybody who watched and had things to say. It was great to get Leelee on and speak to everybody and answer some questions. Take care, Dot. Always appreciate it. Thank you so much for everything you've done and all the advice you give. It's fantastic. I really appreciate you. And and keep on trucking and moving forward. Enjoy, time over there, and hopefully, you get over here soon. And if you're ever in the area, let's meet up. I don't drink coffee, but I can drink too big, which is water. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna sign off. And again, thank you very much. Consider subscribing to my channel and watching some videos of mine, and really appreciate it, all your input and all your support. So take care, everybody. This is Ben from Bao, Cordova, outside of Cebu City, at 12:45 a.m. Philippines time, signing off. Take care, everybody.